And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. For tonight's podcast episode, it's just going to be me flying solo tonight. But before I get into tonight's topics, I just want to go on ahead and say this a little disclaimer. I am going to be talking about the incident that happened with Alec Baldwin on the set of Rust. I'm going to go on ahead and talk about what Brendan Lee's family talked about as well. Brendan Lee is also the actor that played the Crow and he actually got killed on the set of The Crow. So, with further ado, let's go on ahead and dive into this thing. So, as everybody knows, last week, Alec Baldwin accidentally shot somebody on the set of the movie Rust, and he ended up injuring the director and also to the cinematographer. He actually injured the cinematographer. But the thing that I really feel bad about the most is the fact that there was someone that ended up dying because of what happened with this prop gun, because of the fact that Alec Baldwin was the one who fired the gun, but he didn't even know the fact that this prop gun was even loaded with a real bullet or anything like that. And I just feel bad for the family. I feel bad that this happened on the set of Rust. Incidents like this happens rarely, but it does happen, sadly. But there's things that happen within this whole entire thing. As a matter of fact, people are wondering if I'm ever going to be talking about it, and there was like a lot of stuff that came out that I wasn't sure about just yet or anything like that. I wanted to get a little bit more detail before I went on ahead and started talking about this. So here's the thing. The Russ Armor's lawyers offered new loaded gun timeline. They say live round could have been a sabotage. Now, this is coming from Variety and Jason Bowles and Robert Groens, the attorneys for Rust. Armor Hannah uh, Gutierrez, I believe that's how you say his name, Reed spoke on the Today Show Wednesday morning to propose a clearer timeline about how a live round got on the set. Bowles also brought up the new defense that someone may have sabotaged the set. We're assuming somebody put the live round in that box, which, if you think about that, the person who put the live round in the box of dummy rounds had to have the purpose of sabotaging the set. The sabotage set, a statement made anchor Savannah Gaultier pause and would clarify and asking, is that your theory of the case that someone intentionally placed a live round into a box of dummies for the purpose of ending up in a weapon that would be used on set? And this is what they both said. We don't have a theory yet. We are investigating and we're trying to get all the facts. That's one of the possibilities, Bao said. And then when Couture pressed further, Bao said, I believe that somebody who would do that would want to sabotage the set, want to prove a point, want to say that they're disgruntled, they're unhappy, and we know that people had walked off the set the day before. When asked if crew member could have tampered, Bao said, I think you can't rule anybody out at this point. We know there was a live round in a box of dummy rounds that shouldn't have been there. We have people who had left the set and who had walked out because they were disgruntled. We have a time frame between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. approximately that day in which the firearms at times were unattended. So there was actually an opportunity to tamper with the scene. Gruens added that that was completely unattended at all times, giving someone access and opportunity. Gross Reed wasn't able to keep an eye on the firearms during that time period. Groen said because she had another duty and responsibility as key props assistant. And so she had gone to that day right after she had provided the handgun to Assistant Director Dave Halls. So Mr. Halls took custody of the weapon, and at that point, she was doing her other duties as key prop assistant. In New York Times report later on Wednesday, Gruens further obligated as to why the gun was unattended. He told the Times that around 11 a.m., Grotius Reed loaded the three firearms to be used later that day during filming, including the firearm in question. She put the guns in stock, a tactic used to stop others from tampering with them, and went on lunch break, leaving them unattended. Was their duty to safeguard them 24/7, Gruns said to the Times? The answer is no, because there were no live rounds. And so that's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. as far as that report goes. And here's the thing, it's one thing to say, oh, somebody tampered with the bullets, someone tampered with this to sabotage the set. And at that point, you're becoming a, I'm going to be honest with you, it makes you feel like you're a conspiracy theorist in a sense. You're going based on theory versus what's on fact, that somebody's out there to sabotage a set versus just going on legal documentation of what happened and everything. And that's just not the way to go about it. To me, they should have waited until further evidence was conclusive in order to make that deal, in order for that to actually happen. But another thing too that I really feel like that I need to touch on though as well is the fact that, you know, I feel bad for Alec Baldwin. I feel bad that this happened to him. I feel bad that I'm even talking about this. I wish that the filming was still going on for Rust. This is a small indie project. Also, too, from what I gathered and what I heard and everything in the news reports, was that you had other people that were actually walking off the set because of the fact that the production team for Rust, they weren't getting along that well. And also, too, they also had some incidents on other set pieces, I believe. But still, you know, you're having you're having this thing where one person's walking off the set and having that happen. But I just feel so bad that this is happening. Alec Baldwin also was hitting back at reports alleging that there were a number of safety concerns on Rust prior to the fatal shooting of Hayla Hutchins on Tuesdays. Baldwin shared a message from custom designer Therese Magpale Davis that called claims of chaotic working conditions bullshit. I'm so sick of this narrative, Davis began in a lengthy Facebook post, which Baldwin reposted. I worked on the movie. The story being spun of us being overworked and surrounded by unsafe, chaotic conditions are bullshit. In her post, Davis slammed the crew members who walked off the set over safety and financial issues, saying they that they are not heroes and called them jerks. She claimed the producers were approached and warned. She said concerns were heard and addressed. Davis has also defended the hiring of the armor Hannah Grotius Reed, one of the two crew members at the center of the shooting. Baldwin, who stars and produces, who is also a producer on Rust, took several screenshots of the message, which he posted on his personal Instagram page. It can be read. I don't know if it can be so read or anything like that, but the 63-year-old actor publicly addressed the tragedy for the first time on Saturday. She was a friend, Baldwin said. And Hutchins, the day I arrived in Santa Fe to start shooting, I took her to dinner with Joel, the director. Souza was wounded with Baldwin accidentally firing the prop gun during rehearsal. Now, here's the thing. I With this situation, you have Alec Baldwin, who made his first real, basically his real first statement since firing the firearm, since accidentally killing somebody on the set, and since also too injuring somebody who was a director on the set. And so my thing is this: he should have been very careful at doing this, because then you can also wind up saying, hey, he could actually be a potential suspect in this whole entire thing altogether. Even though he's not meaning to be a suspect, it could wind up being where he's going to be a suspect because of the way that he is presenting it. Even though he's not meaning to. It's just that the way the cops proceed with things, the way that people are listening in, it could dial it into where he could be a potential suspect without even meaning to be a suspect. But that's why I feel like he shouldn't have went to social media with this. I understand that he's dealing with the struggle of accidentally killing somebody with the prop gun. I understand that he's dealing with the emotional damage of that family not having that other person around anymore, and also two injuring the director for Rust as well. And I understand that he wanted to be out and open and publicly talking about it, because the more you talk about something, the better off you are. But I feel like in this way, I feel like that he should have went to psychiatry a little bit, got some self-help with that, to be able to help with his coping, versus going to social media and posting something like that to make it look like, in a sense, that he's a suspect, even though he's not a suspect. And just talking in that kind of context makes, the cops might raise an eyebrow or two because of that. But still, I believe Alec Baldwin's innocent. I don't think he didn't mean to do this. You can tell that he didn't mean to do this. Alec Baldwin is 100% innocent when it comes down to this. It's just about finding out who did this. And it's just sad to be able to see something like this happen and know that this happened. And also, too, I want to go on ahead and talk about this as well, is the fact that Brandon Lee's family reacts to Alec Baldwin's prop gun shooting accident, which is our main topic for the night. And also, too, I want to mention this. I'm not just covering Alec Baldwin, the prop gun shooting. I am going to be doing something after I get done covering this. So if you're expecting something more uplifting, a little bit more of the movie news and something more exciting, that's going to happen in a few minutes. But I feel like in my heart that I need to cover this. And so, anyways, Brandon Lee's family ends up reacting to Alec Baldwin's prop gun shooting accident. And the family of Brandon Lee, an actor who was killed during filming of The Crow in 1993, is speaking out about the tragedy that hit Russ on the movie set on Thursday when Alec Baldwin discharged a prop gun that killed cinematographer Hala Hutchins. A tweet from Lee's official Twitter account, which is run by his sister Shannon, on Thursday reads, "Our hearts go out to the family of Helena and Hutchins, and to Joel Souza, all involved in the incident on Rust. No one should ever be killed by a gun on a film set. Period." The tweet also included a broken heart emoji. Brandon Lee is the son of the late martial arts legend Bruce Lee. Brandon died at the age of 28 on March 31st, 1993, while filming the Wilmington, North Carolina, and Wellington, North Carolina, for the movie The Crow. And even though The Crow is one of my favorite all-time movies that I'll continue to watch over and over again because I love The Crow, but it's just sad that Brandon Lee passed away because of the same kind of circumstances that happened with Alec Baldwin accidentally firing a gun prop, and taking someone else's life. And then of course the incident on the Crow set. So with someone putting a loaded bullet into the chamber of the gun when Brandon Lee went on ahead and pulled the trigger, and it ended up killing him. I just feel bad that something like this happened. And I feel like this. We live in a day and age where I feel like CGI could have been better, about a better substitute for a handgun, rather than having the actual handgun on the set. There's other ways to go about doing action scenes now that are 100% safer. I understand you can go for, you want practical effects. I totally understand that. But when it comes down to firearms, when it comes to firearm safety, when it comes down to everything, I just feel like that they could do an action scene using a CGI gun. It doesn't take away from the movie at all. We have better technology than what we ever had before. I feel like that's the way to go about it if they want to go on ahead and start doing more action scenes, start doing things with guns and stuff. Is just use CGI, use special effects when you have while you have them and stuff, because of so the way you don't have something like this happen again. I just feel bad for the family members of the cinematographer, for the life that is no longer, the person's no longer there with them, and of course the family that has to go through this tragedy, and also with Alec Baldwin now going through this as well. And it's just saddening to see this. And also too, I want to point this out, is this Alec Baldwin also released his first statement, like I said before, according to the actual the discharge of the prop gun on the set of his new Western, killing one of the film's members and injuring another. The shooting unfolded Thursday afternoon during the filming of Rust in New Mexico, and left cinematographer Haley Hutchins dead and injured director Joel Souza. And this is what he said: "There are no words to convey my shock and sadness regarding the tragic accident that took the life of Hala Huskins, a wife, mother, and deeply admired colleague of ours." Baldwin tweeted Friday morning, "I'm fully cooperating with the police investigation to address how this tragedy occurred, and I am in touch with her husband, offering my support to him and his family. My heart is broken for her husband, their son, and all who knew and loved Helena." So, you know, Alec is 100% apologetic, even though he can't take that life back or anything like that. Even though those things have happened, he still feels bad. He's shocked over it. He wished that this wouldn't even had happened in the first place. And like I said, I think that the best way to go about doing something like this, whenever it comes down to action scenes or doing stuff with guns, is going ahead, get CGI, going ahead, get yourself something set up to where you don't have to use a real gun anymore, a real prop gun, to where you don't have actors misfiring a firearm, you don't have misplacement of bullets or anything like that. Even, let's say if someone did sabotage the set on purpose, someone should have went on ahead and double checked the gun again just to make sure that everything was running smoothly, instead of people assuming that the gun is safe whenever it's not safe. They should have double checked it more clearly, instead of it just being, okay, no one messed with it or anything like that, there's no tampering, I already checked it once, we're good to go, let's start filming, versus let's go on ahead and check this out again. Even though I already checked it, I want to make sure this is actually safe for the actor and also for everybody else on the set of this film that I'm doing. And I think that that's what should have happened, but instead it winds up being this way, sadly. But I like. Here's the thing: I respect the fact that Brandon Lee's family members are reaching out, and also to having a loving hand on the family of the cinematographer that passed away, of her family, and saying, look, we've been through the same situations before, there should have been better ways of handling this than what we had in the past. You would think, because of the loss and death of my brother, they should have handled better protocols than what they do now, but it seems like they're still having the same protocols that they had before, sadly. But these things kind of happen. I wish that they didn't. Like I mentioned before, I know I'm kind of repeating myself a little bit, but I mean, what else can you really say other than the fact is that this is an accident. This is something that nobody expected to happen. This is a sad situation at a bad place. And I know that Alec wishes that this wouldn't have happened either. And I just wish that he would have reserved himself a little bit more when it came down to the whole entire social media stuff. Matter of fact, he actually went private recently. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact, hey, look, I don't want to go on ahead and be on social media anymore and people just trash talk me, or if it's the fact, okay, I'm giving myself some private time. I'm reestablishing and refocusing in on certain things, and I need to take a break from social media. So therefore, I'm going to go private temporarily until this investigation is over with, which is understandable in this situation. Also, too, maybe he's seeking counseling. Maybe that's also another good option. Maybe he's going black for a little bit just to go ahead and you know, get some counseling done. Go on ahead and rethink his thoughts and everything. So there's just a million things that might be going through his mind. Also, to the family as well. I just feel bad, like I said before, that this happened. But anyways, let's go on ahead and talk about something a little bit more happier. And it's the fact that we have Taika Waititi is in talks to direct the Disney's Tower of Terror film, and this is something that I'm excited for. I remember when we actually had Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson, attached to do this film, to produce this film, and now it looks like Taika Waititi's doing it. But let me go on ahead and read the report, then I'll go into some speculations and stuff like that. But Disney has reportedly found a director for the upcoming Tower of Terror film, and it's none other than Taika Waititi. And according to the recent report from the Dislender, Waititi will take over to direct the film based on the iconic Disney amusement park ride. Scarlett Johansson was previously announced to be starring and producing the film, with a script to come from Academy Award winner Josh Cooley. While Johansson and Disney had a public back and forth this year regarding Johansson's legal dispute over Disney releasing Black Widow on Disney Plus. That looks to have not affected the status of the Dark Tower movie. As for Waititi, he is no stranger to working with Disney, and as he's now a monastery in the world of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and just wrapped up the production on Thor: Love and Thunder earlier this year. Based on one of the Disney's classic and popular theme park attractions, the Tower of Terror film will be produced by Johansson through her. Well, matter of fact, it will actually be produced by Scarlett Johansson through these picture banners alongside Jonathan Leah. The project comes after the success of Jungle Cruise, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, who are both set to reprise their roles in the recent announced sequel. Johansson was recently starred in her last MCU movie as Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She is currently filming in Spain for her Wes Anderson film, and will also next be in Apple Studios' romantic action adventure called the film called Ghosted, which reunites her with a long time collaborator for Chris Evans. So, like I said before, I I've been wanting to see a Tower of Terror movie for a long time. Don't get me wrong, I love the Steve Goldenberg movie with back in the '90s on the Disney Channel and stuff like that. It was original property during that time, but it was a little too cheesy. It was a little too much. But what Taika does is, yeah, he gives you the cheesiness, he gives you that, but he also adds in the humor, he adds in the layers, he adds in the characters, the placement of the characters, and gives you characters that you can care about. Jojo Rabbit was a fantastic film. Also, too, the Thor Ragnarok movie was fantastic. I love Thor Ragnarok. But when you look at the tones, when you look at a movie like Tower of Terror, I can see him using those dark elements when he needs to use those dark elements, and I can also see him using that humor, that flavor, whenever it needs to be delivered. I can see him doing the lightness and darkness of this movie and everything. So I can definitely see that going on. So, like I mentioned before, I feel like Taika Waititi is actually one of the best ones to actually do the Tower of Terror and things like that whenever it becomes of course, is a Disney property, and he's no stranger, like I said, to Disney properties, and also too with the home run that he had with Thor Ragnarok. He's also had a major success with Jojo Rabbit, and then of course just got done wrapping up Thor: Love and Thunder, which I can't wait to see. But still, I think that he's actually the perfect director when it comes down to Terror Tower. But that's just my own opinion. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. So, with that being said, let's go on ahead and get into our next topic. David Chase on Another The Sopranos Series. He goes, I'm not anxious to do it. So let's go on ahead, dive into this. The Sopranos creator David Chase is no stranger to the world of television, but in a recent interview, Chase said that if he were to revisit the world of Sopranos for a third time, it would be with another movie. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter for an episode of the Awards Chatter show, Chase spoke about his recent released prequel to the iconic television series, The Many Saints of Newark. Towards the end of the talk, Chase mentioned that thanks to the success of the film found on HBO's streaming service, studios wanted Chase to do another series of The Sopranos, this time picking up from when the movie ends and lasting until the original series begins. He said, as quoted, I'm not that anxious to do it, Chase said when asked how he felt about that. Chase was then asked what the chances of him doing that are. And he said that if it were to happen, he would do one more movie rather than television series because I have an idea for that I like to do, but I don't think that they want that. And I'm just going to be flat out and honest with you. The Many Saints of Newark was not as exciting as I wanted it to be. It wasn't that exciting at all, to be honest with you. I was let down by it completely. I didn't like the dialogue. It felt like a straight to DVD release. Also, too, nobody yet went over to the movie theaters to support the Many Saints of Newark or anything like that. I feel like David Chase forgets that the fact that this was a TV series, people tuned in every Sunday, including myself, and it was basically a tradition. It was basically a ritual every single Sunday. You would tune in for these characters for an hour of your time and watch Tony do what he needs to do with the Mafia family, not only the Mafia family, but also too with his own family as well in the back and forth with Melfi and everything. I just feel like I just feel like David Chase forgets where The Sopranos came from. I feel like that he thinks that this is going to be a gold mine of a gold mine of a feature film, and it's not. It was always a an hour TV show. That was it. It was never meant to be a movie. And I feel like after so many years of him being off this project and being detached from The Sopranos and stuff like that, he forgot that this was an hour TV show. This was on HBO. This was a ritual that people would tune in for and watch for free versus going to a theater and watching it. And everybody decided, hey, I'm not going to go to the theater to check this out. I'm going to check this out on the streaming service on HBO Max because that's where I'm used to. That's where I do my rituals at. That's where I always tune in to watch Tony and the gang and watch them do what they do. And I just feel like that he forgot where he came from as far as the Sopranos go. But, I just feel like, and I even said this, I feel like the Sopranos prequel movie should have been a mini series leading all the way up to the time that we see them as grown adults. That's just me and my logic and the way that I'm thinking. But if you guys like Many Saints of Newark and everything, I do appreciate the fact that you liked it. But for me, it wasn't. Many Saints of Newark was definitely not my kind of flavor. It was definitely not my favorite Sopranos movie turned into or anything like that. Like I said, I feel like David Chase forgets where The Sopranos comes from. I feel like he's been detached from the film, from the TV series for so long that he forgets that people used to tune in every Sunday to watch this show. So that's just my thought process on it. So do me a favor, guys. If you guys are watching right now, comment in the live chat and everything. And just if you guys have any questions for me with anything regarding the Brandon Lee case, or if it's not, comment in the live chat and we'll have a conversation back and forth about different things. It doesn't have to be the topics that I've talked about. I talked about the Taika Waititi story about the Terror Tower, him directing it. Scarlett Johansson is actually going to be producing it, and I believe she's going to be starring in it. So if you have anything like that, if you like those topics or anything like that, go on ahead, comment inside the live chat. If not, I'm going to go on ahead and do my ad read for Manscaped. And then after that, that's going to be it for the show. I know this is a little bit shorter than what I normally do, but it is what it is for tonight. But tomorrow night, we're actually going to be doing. I'm going to have Charlie back on the show tomorrow night. So this is just me being solo for tonight. So let's go on ahead and talk about Manscaped. So Manscaped is brought to you. Matter of fact, Movie Lovers Unite is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming, champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their fourth generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right. The 4.0 joined over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. I bet Tony Soprano would actually use a Manscaped, to be honest with you. I think that might be the biggest problem in the way that he's actually angry all the time. Maybe he's angry because he doesn't have the below the waist line trimmings or anything like that for his family jewels or anything like that. So you need to invest in something. Manscaped is the best way to go. I use it myself with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the promo code Movie Lovers Unite at manscaped.com. And also too, I bet if he could just imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed and optimized trimmer that makes shaving time his favorite time in the bathroom, he wouldn't even have a problem with anything. He would be like, "Hey, look at me, look what I got down there," you know. But and then get this. I'm like I said before, I'm one of the first people to try the new 4.0, and I'm blown away by the performance, the craftsmanship, and details on the 4.0 are the next level. And also too, I'm going to be honest with you. There was a time when it was like a dark place in my life, to be honest with you, where I used the wrong clippers. I got nipped in the wrong way, and it just looked bad and everything. And not only that, but it you don't want your stuff to look like a cheetah pet. If it looks like a cheetah pet, you don't want it, you don't want nothing to go down there or anything like that. So another thing too is this. Manscaped is also engineering the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredibility, comfortable grooming experience. Their fourth generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Thanks to their advanced skin safe technology, I now feel confident shaving my boys. This upgraded trimmer includes a multifunction on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000 LED spotlight on and off when needed for a long, precise shave. The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths, sizes 1 through 4. Did I mention wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Men, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer you're on your face, you've been doing it wrong. No person wants to end up with pubes in their mouth. No, nobody wants pubes in their mouth. They want a nice smooth surface to where they can actually feel comfortable with your boys and being able to have mouth to mouth precise with their mouth. So, anyways, no person wants to end up with pubes in their mouth. It's time to get your own ball, hair, and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Even Tony Soprano himself would buy this. Get 20% off plus free shipping and handling with the code Movie Loves Unite at manscaped.com, and your balls will thank you. So that's where you guys can go on ahead and get yourself a Manscaped. And like Brandy Mullen said, don't go down bumpy roads. Definitely don't want to go down bumpy roads. That's not good. And also too, what in the shape of Scooby Doo? Okay, so so anyways, so my favorite comic. Now, Brandy, my question is this: when you're asking me my favorite comic, are you asking me the you're actually asking my favorite comic book, or you're asking me my favorite comic book movie? So if you're going to go with my favorite comic, I'm going to have to go with Batman or Reaper, for the simple fact that it's only a 4-story issue, and basically it's where the Joker and Batman are actually poisoned. So therefore they have to find out who poisoned them and go to Paris, and they have to track down who poisoned them, and they have no choice but to rely on each other. So that's another one that I like. There's also the other one that the other comic book that I really like, of course, is Death in the Family. That's also a classic one. Court of Owls is also a good one for the New 52, even though that's no longer canon anymore. But also, too, another one that I really couldn't put down was Hush. Hush was a good one. And then, of course, if you want to go on and check out this one, it's called I Am Bane, which is also part of Batman Rebirth. And let me just tell you this, the battle between Bane and him was something to actually see within the pages itself. Because Bane is over there just kicking Batman's butt over and over again. And Batman is just making him basically almost killing him, basically. But then there's a little bit of a plot twist where another character intervenes or whatever. But that plot line of I Am Bane is really good. I definitely recommend that one. Another one that I recommend is Doctor Strange comic, and that is going to be The Last Days of Magic, which is a really good book. And also too, there's also another comic, Doctor Strange, with Doctor Strange in it as well, with the Punisher. It's called Magic Bullets. That's also a good one. Also, too, Batman: The Killing Joke is a fantastic comic. It's a classic comic. It's one of the comics that I actually own. Um, yeah, the comic books are usually better, but as for my favorite comic book movie and everything, I have to go with The Dark Knight. With of course, even though it's more realism than anything and not really comic booky or anything like that, Christopher Nolan did a fantastic job on that film. I like Christian Bale as Batman, but you can't beat Michael Keaton as the 1989 Batman. And also, too, he's going to be in this new Flash movie, so that's also another thing that I'm excited about as well. But yeah, that's just some of the stuff that I really liked. But yeah, Nessa, yeah, like I said before, Batman: The Killing Joke, great comic. I definitely liked it. Heath Ledger did a wonderful Joker. Yes, he did. He did a damn good job. Also, too, Joaquin Phoenix did a good Joker. Now, some people may not like the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, but for me, he did a great job as an Elseworld Joker in another time setting. And I feel like Joaquin Phoenix did a good job capturing who the Joker is, and also too not relying on the stuff that Heath Ledger did, but making the Joker his own thing rather than doing a rehash of it, because everybody has their own ways of actually doing making a character their own. And I'm glad that he managed to do a different version of the Joker and made it his own, because it's easy to do copy and paste and do the same stuff, but it's hard to balance the two out. And I'm glad that he was able to do that. Jared Leto's Joker, I have to say, is here's the thing: it wasn't his fault because he wasn't given the time like we normally see with everybody else. And I feel like Jared Leto did a good job for what he had in front of him. It was not his fault. Even if somebody else was casted as Joker, we would still get that look of the Joker. We would still have that dialogue coming out of that voice of the Joker. So that's just the way I look at it. Either way it goes, we're screwed anyways, based off of the fact that it's going to be the same dialogue, same look, same everything. So it didn't matter if they got another actor to play that version in the Suicide Squad or not. We would still be stuck with that same version that we had, regardless of the fact if Jared Leto was in it or not. But is there any other questions that you would like to know? The extended version for me for the Suicide Squad was a little too choppy, to be honest with you, Brandy. I feel like at least with Batman versus Superman, you actually have some continuity to where it was cohesive, where you can actually understand what's going on within the world on the extended cut. With this one, it was like, okay, well, guess what? You know what we didn't show you in the theater? Guess what? We're going to show you this right now. And then it goes into the origin of the Joker, the origin of Harley Quinn. And then it shows, it's very copy and paste. It's like not even a cohesive extended cut. It's like different scenes that didn't add up to a hill of beans. I'm just going to be honest. But from what I heard with this David Ayer cut, and I'm hoping that they do release a David Ayer cut, it's a more cohesive cut versus the cut that I got on my Blu-ray, because they still left out a lot of stuff in the Blu-ray. Like, I can't wait to show you my toys, for example. I saw that in the trailer. It was not in the theatrical version, and it wasn't not in the extended version of this one that I got. Now, as far as seeing him show up, the Joker show up in Justice League, I love that, to be honest with you. I like that version of the Joker. I think Zack Snyder did a very good job at giving us a different take on the Joker with choosing Jared Leto. So I think that was a good way to reintroduce the Joker with Jared Leto without the tattoos, without the grills, and gave us a real dark Joker. So, what other questions that you guys want to ask me? I'm I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for tonight. To be honest with you, since I'm actually doing this solo. But yeah, comic book movies is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. Also, too, Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be coming out next year and things like that. So I'm excited for that. Taika Waititi, like I mentioned before, just got done wrapping that up, and then of course he's doing Terror Tower, which is based off the Disney ride. So that's something that I'm really excited about because I'm also a horror movie fan as well. But there's just different things out there that I like. What do you think of Labyrinth? I like Labyrinth. Labyrinth was actually a good movie. Nobody really, to be honest with you, everybody seems to think that Labyrinth is basically overrated as a movie, but no, I really like Labyrinth for what it is. Labyrinth is actually one of those movies that I watch from time to time sometimes, and I always find something new whenever I watch it. I might actually do a review on that sometime. That's actually a good question. Thank you for asking me that. But tomorrow night I'm actually going to be doing the movies with the best endings for tomorrow night. So that's going to be the episode for tomorrow night is movies that had the best endings. So if you guys want to tune in for that, that's going to be 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern. time and 6 o'clock Pacific time for that one. Suicide Squad didn't show that abusive relationship between Harley and Joker. What would you have done to change and add that detail? To be honest with you, I feel like they should have done more with the verbal abuse. Sadly, I hate to say it, but Joker is a douchebag. He's a ball bag. I feel like, you know, in order for them to capture the Joker the way he is, you needed to show that abusive side and get that stuff a lot more fleshed out than what we did. And we didn't really see the abusive side of Joker in this movie. Yeah, he pushed her off the helicopter and stuff like that. We saw that kind of abuse, but it didn't take the small details. It didn't go ahead and make it um a more of a slower paced film to get us to that point. So this is what I would have done. I would have gotten rid of the stupid plot that we had with Enchantress doing the Macarena. I would have gotten rid of that. I would have actually got rid of that because of the fact that you can do simplest story of Suicide Squad without having to do all this other stuff with Enchantress. The main thing that I liked about the New 52 when regarding uh, everything was the fact that they were out there looking for the Joker, and she winds up backstabbing the Suicide Squad so she can go find Joker. She winds up trying to sleep with Deadshot to try and get him to sneak her away and everything. And also too, she sleeps with Deadshot, and the whole entire plot point is her trying to get the Joker. And if they would have went on ahead and make it that simplistic to where, excuse me, to where basically you have her trying to get to the Joker, I think it would have been a better plot storyline. You didn't need to put Enchantress in there. You didn't need to have her doing the Macarena. You didn't have to go on ahead and do that. Make it a simplistic story rather than doing all this Enchantress stuff. The Enchantress stuff really bothered me in the Suicide Squad movie. It was a giant mess of a film. And also, too, I do agree. I think the Joker could have actually used a manscape. Let's see here. In the comic, he's dropped her from a 20-story building. Yeah, that is true. He has dropped her from a 20-story building, but also too, he also dropped her from acid as well. So you know what kind of psychopath that he is to drop somebody from into acid to make him a part of her and everything too. But I wish that they would have went more with that storyline of the New 52 outlook, because I like the New 52. They showed aspects of the New 52 which seemed promising in the stills, but when it comes down to the context behind it, it didn't land so well. It didn't go so well for me and everything. I was just really feeling disappointed. I saw this movie twice in theaters. I saw it once in 2D and one in 3D, trying to fit. Because here's the thing: if I don't like something, I always question why I don't like something, because there has to be something for me not to like in order for me not to like something. I'm not one of those people like, well, that movie sucked. Well, thank you, Captain Moron. What didn't you like about the film? I'm not 3 years old. Tell me what you didn't like, and explain to me what you didn't like about that film. Because I like to have a conversation. I don't like things to be one sided. So therefore, with me, I always question why I didn't like something. For instance, with the new Halloween movie and stuff like that, that was basically because of the fact that the atmospheric thing that we got from the other Halloween, from the 2017 or 18 Halloween movie. They had more of a slow pacing build. They gave us characters to care about. This one was more the atmospheric type of Halloween. This is more your Jamie Lee Curtis 1970s Halloween film from the very first one that didn't have those tones that we got from the 2018 version, which I felt let down on. And with Suicide Squad, it just felt like something was missing. It just feels like that they should have had like a slower build to it, make it simple, don't make it too complex, and go from there. They should have made they should have made me a director. Trust me, I probably wouldn't have been able to do a better job than what they could, because chances is the studios probably went on ahead and stepped in just like they did with Snyder and pulled him from the, well, basically Snyder didn't get pulled from the project or get fired. His daughter committed suicide, and therefore they got Joss Whedon to go ahead and um, got him to direct it versus Zack Snyder. And then once Zack Snyder saw the damage that they were doing with this film, it was too late. But then, of course, we got the Snyder's cut, which is a damn good movie, a better version. But still, do you rewatch it to make sure that's how you feel about it? Yeah, to be honest with you, as a reviewer, to me, in order for me to say I don't like something, I have to rewatch something for me to be able to know if I like something or not. Even if my first viewing is not what I wanted to be, even though I have here's the thing. When we go into movies, we always have our own theories, right? So because we have our own theories, because of that, we get in trouble. We get in trouble big time because we're using our imaginations. We're going based off of canon stuff that's within the comic book realm. We're going based off of our own theories rather than just viewing the movie it's for what it is and checking our theories at the door. So that's where we get in trouble at, is the fact that we use our own theories, and then when our theories does not check with what we have in our little boxes, oh, that movie sucked. So the second time viewing that I go into a movie, I'll go on ahead and I'll watch the movie for what it is, and then I'll judge it for what it is and go from there. But to judge a movie based on the fact that it didn't match up with your theories is wrong. You need to check that at the door. And even whenever those theories didn't match up for me on my first viewing of a film, and everything, I'll be like, okay, so this is where they're giving me. This is the universe that they created that they feel like is best for that universe. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna see what's going on. So all my theories is checked at the door. I'm watching the movie for what it is. Matter of fact, I did watch the Suicide Squad recently because of the fact that the new Suicide Squad movie came out on HBO Max. Matter of fact, I have both of those reviews up on the YouTube channel as well. The both spoiler reviews, but I did both of them. But if I had to put my money on which one I like better, it's the James Gunn movie. It is not because of the fact that I like Guardians of the Galaxy or because I'm an MCU fan as well. Because I like MCU and I like the DC. I like both comics. I like both and everything. It doesn't bother me. I'm not one sided on that. But to me, MCU has a better quality films. We just have to see of Shang-Chi and all that other stuff. Because here's the thing, I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet. I haven't seen um here's another thing. I haven't seen Shang-Chi. I haven't seen Eternals yet. I also haven't seen Venom yet because of the fact that I just don't have the funds right now to be able to go out to the movies or anything like that like I want to. So therefore I'm reviewing like all the films. I'm having fun doing that right now and going from there. But Loki God of Mischief. I love the Loki series though. Loki series is fire. I love the Loki series. But when we go into a theater, just go on ahead, use your own thought process whenever you watch a film. Ignore all the theories that you have and throw those out the window and watch the movie for what it is. And like I said, there's sometimes whenever I go into the movie, I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. But if this is the universe that you gave me, I'm going to watch it anyways. And I never walk out of a movie. Believe it or not, as bad as a movie is, I never walked out. Even with Battlefield Earth, I never. That movie's horrible with John Travolta. But I never walked out of a single movie. And the only time that now here's the thing. I did walk out of a movie because of the fact the date that I had something personal going on. So therefore, I had to leave. So that was like the only time that I left the theater. It wasn't because the movie was bad or anything like that. I don't blame you for walking out of the Blair Witch Project, to be honest with you. Found footage films from me, you're not going to find that on this channel. You're not going to find any kind of found footage reviews. Although I did do the Blair Witch back in 2016 when the new one came out. I did a review for that. That's back whenever I was first starting up with the channel and stuff like that. But other than that, you're not going to find me doing all these found footage films and stuff like that. To me, that is garbage. I don't like found footage films. If people who are listening to my podcast and stuff like that, if you love found footage films, good for you. They're not for me. But I give you guys praise because you like something that I don't. But um, Blair Witch to me in 2016, I did see that in the theater. I like the mixing of it. I like the scenes where the characters are getting lost. The sound effects are really good. Shaky cams, no thank you. I'm out. And I'm bored. I feel like I'm doing surveillance for crying out loud. whenever I'm watching found footage films, to be honest with you. That's why I don't like paranormal activity. I feel like I'm doing surveillance and spying on this family that might have a paranormal event and everything, and I'm being the creeper and just watching them sleep, hoping that something might terrify them. But I remember falling asleep in the theater, not being entertained with it. I fell asleep watching Paranormal Activity. The usher actually had to wake me up and tell me that it's time to go home. That's how bad it was. But what else do you guys have questions on? I know that I've been ranting a little bit more on found footage films and things like that. I like that. I like the interaction. I do. By the way, I just want to say I appreciate you and your daughter tuning in every night, just about to watch my show. It means so much to me that you guys, as an audience, are enjoying my reviews or enjoying my show. So thank you. Scooby Doo overall again. This creeper. Yeah, definitely, most definitely. But yeah, paranormal movies suck. Paranormal activity movies suck. Let me just put it that way. Found footage movies suck to me. But you know, that's just my thought process on that. um, but yeah, another thing too that I like that studios are starting to do now, they're no longer trying to do reboots or stuff like or remakes anymore. Now they're trying to do like a retelling of a certain story versus doing remakes and reboots because I feel like that's what they can do is they can do continuations of other characters that we know and love and give them more things to do and more stuff to interact with. With the Conjuring franchise, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the first two Conjuring films. I wanted to like the third one a lot. I actually did that a review. I actually gave that a review as well on this channel. Third one, I was let down on. And even though James Wan was the producer on the film, it didn't feel like James Wan was the producer on the film. It just seems like they just slapped his name on the film to sell posters. And that's exactly what they do sometimes. Just because you see, for example, produced by James Wan, does not necessarily mean that James Wan was working on this film. They slap a producer's name onto a poster to sell tickets. And because of the fact that they have that name plastered on that poster, people are going to go out and see it because it's a James Wan film. This one was not a James Wan film, and it said it was produced by James Wan. And his thumbprints was not even on that movie at all. And I was let down by it. I didn't like the direction that they were going in with that film. I did not like what they did with it. I'm not going to get into what I did like or whatever, but I was let down with that film this year, and that was my anticipation. That was on my anticipated list of movies to see, and I was let down. And also too, The Nun sucked. It was a paint by the numbers kind of movie. The dialogue sucked. You have a French guy trying to hit on a nun who winds up being a person in training to be a nun, and he's being like Pippi the Pew trying to hit on this nun and everything. It just does not work. This and the only thing that I could say that I was really creeped out about with the nun was the fact that all of a sudden this one person winds up in the coffin all of a sudden, and that was it. That was all of it. And don't get me started on the Annabelle stuff either, because with the Annabelle movie, you have picture this. You have something horrific that happens, right? Where basically these little orphan girls are uh, are about to go to bed. Then all of a sudden you hear screaming going on. The possession's happening. This person goes up on the ceiling, and then they're watching this happen now. Then all of a sudden the person winds up landing on the floor and dies. Then the ambulance comes over there, takes him away. The nun looks at them. Okay, kids, it's time to go to bed now. I'm like, what? Every single time when someone died, they would see someone die. The nun looks at the kids. Okay, children, it's time to go to bed now. I'm like, what? I'm sorry. I may be the dumbest person on earth, but I would not be. After I saw that happen, I'm like, I'm not going to bed. I don't care if I'm going to be a little orphan Annie for the rest of my life, but I'm not going back in that house. And you can go on ahead and send me to another orphanage because I'm not going in there. But I just don't like that film. That's just me. But let's see here. No more James Bond films. So here's the thing. I like James Bond. Some James Bond movies are hit and miss here and there. Daniel Craig, I'm excited for this new James Bond movie. I haven't seen this new James Bond movie at all. So I'm excited. I'm pumped up for it because it's Daniel Craig's last movie. This is like me watching um watching the last Wolverine movie, watching Hugh Jackman go out into sunset one last time. So I'm excited to see Daniel Craig do one more movie of James Bond to go out in the sunset and do his thing. So I'm excited for that. But James Bond, it needs to be a I'm excited for whoever plays James Bond next because there's different ways that you can actually do it. Let's see here. Brandy Mullins said it's like the big-breasted woman running up to the second floor instead of getting out somewhere on that floor. Yeah, definitely feels like that with the Conjuring franchise. Well, not for the franchise as a whole, but the spin-off films. But Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, awesome. Love the development with that. Slow pacing, slow build up. Once the tension is there, let it go, and that's it. Shaken, not shaved. That's what she said. But I think that the James Bond franchise is a good franchise. It's just the direction that they want to take sometimes is not, may look good on paper, but when it comes down to the delivery on the screen, it could wind up falling flat in some areas. Uh, but that's just my take on it. Um, like with Spectre, I didn't like this. I didn't like Spectre from the James Bond film at all. I thought Spectre was a real letdown, especially when you have Dave Bautista in the movie, which I thought was going to be the main antagonist, and instead it winds up being somebody else. No, thank you. That movie was a total letdown. I remember that was actually my worst movies of that year list. One of the, let's see, what would be one of your best franchises? Not the Fast and the Furious movies. Let's see, the best franchise. I would have to go with the Back to the Future franchise. I would have to go with those three films, even though that's not really considered a franchise in a sense, because even though it's only like three films, man, that is. If I'll tell you what, if I wasn't live right now, I could probably answer that. Since you caught me off guard, which is a good thing, I might have to get back to you on that because there is a franchise that I love, and it's not Transformers, and it's definitely not the Fast and the Furious movies or anything like that. But Dave Batista, let me just tell you this, and this is why I respect Dave so much as an actor, is the fact that he gets roles that are built for him, and he knows he's not the perfect actor. He even said that in an interview. He said, "I'm not the strongest actor or anything like that, but I get scripts that are better made for me that I can do something with." And he acknowledges the fact that he's not the best actor. And that's one of the things that I liked about him is the fact that he acknowledges that and he tries to act and everything. And to be honest with you, I like I liked him in that new zombie movie when Zack Snyder did. I thought he did a very good job with that. He gave us something different. Drax was funny. I do give him that. But when it comes down to who's the better actor as far as wrestling goes, John Cena just came out of doing the Suicide Squad. I thought he was really good at delivering stuff from the Suicide Squad movie, but he still has a lot more work. With Dave Batista, I have to say he's the better actor over John Cena. And then The Rock is number one. You have Dave Batista as number two, and then John Cena coming at number three for me. But yeah, a lot of wrestlers. Here's the thing: Dwayne the Rock Johnson's the only one that I can actually say that can carry a film by himself and sell tickets. He has the charisma. He has the way of making you sink into the characters that he's playing. The movie that I loved him in was Faster. Faster was the one that got me sold on him as an actor and stuff like that because of the fact that it was so different. He didn't have any dialogue, but there was a lot of steering. It was a lot because 99% of acting is not dialogue; it's actually looking at the camera and the way he looks at the camera, the way that people were scared of him. It was like John Wick, but jacked up John Wick. But it was The Rock, and everybody was scared of him. So I definitely like. As a matter of fact, that's actually my favorite franchise is John Wick. John Wick is actually one of my favorite franchises. There you go. But you know, I think that that's going to be it. My voice is kind of going out on me, but I do appreciate the back and forth tonight and everything. I really do. Thank you, Randy and your daughter Nessa. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said before, it means so much to me that you guys enjoy this and watching me go hoarse and talk about manscaping in 30 minutes of my episodes. But I just want to say how humbling it is to have you guys being able to watch. Also, too, to my listeners as well. Oh yeah, I can't wait for John Wick 4 to come out. I'm excited for that one. I'm also excited for the new Matrix movie and stuff like that. I even told Charlie this about the Matrix films because here's the thing: I like the first Matrix movie, and then the second one, I like aspects to it. The third one's we're not going to talk about that one, but I want to say this whenever the fourth one comes out. I want to be able to say, you know what? I like the first one. And I like the fourth one. We had two bad ones. That's all I want to say. To be able to give the Matrix a little bit more of a redemption than what we have. But that's just how I see things and everything. But anyways, guys, go ahead, do me this one big favor. Go over to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and all that other good stuff over there. Also, too, don't forget to hit the right-hand corner of the screen to allow you guys to know what's going on here at Movie Lovers Unite. Like I said, we did a couple of trailer reactions and things like that. I also put out a teaser trailer for my interview on the 23rd of November for Brent Scorpo. He's going to be on here. He's actually the former acting director for The Shawshank Redemption. Oh, you know what? Let me go on ahead. I do apologize. I do want to answer your Loki question. Let me see. Uh, let's see. More James Bond. Have you seen it? Give me more insight on the Loki character development. Okay, so my question is this, Nessa: have you seen the Loki TV series or anything like that? That's my next question. Because if you haven't seen the Loki TV series on Disney Plus, I love that series. There might be one episode that sucked, but the rest of the series is fantastic. I'm just going to tell you that. Because here's the thing: when it came down to Loki in the last Avengers movie, I didn't have no emotional attachment to him. I didn't have any type of emotional attachment to Loki at all when he died. Did I want to? Yeah, I wanted to. But, you know, but what Disney Plus does is they gave me a chance to be able to care about Loki. When he gets to this other realm, they have recorded documentation of everything he ever said. It's over 1 million-page book, and he's being judged based off of everything he's ever done in his whole entire life. And then also too, you have Owen Wilson in this thing, and get this, he doesn't say wow. There's no wow in Disney Plus at all for this series. And Owen Wilson does a fantastic job at actually foreshadowing in on Loki and just telling him what kind of a crummy person he is. And so when so basically Owen Wilson shows him everything through his whole entire timeline of everything he's ever done. Every single person he backstabs, every single person that he's ever come across to, and how much of a crummy person he is. Then you see him start to change just a little bit to the point where you start caring about Loki. And then you get into the whole entire timeline of it being destroyed because of the fact that there's actually a lady Loki in this series. And based off of this and my assumptions is him, even though they botched this now, but to me it was about Loki trying to love himself as a person and trying to actually be the right version of himself. And that to me is good storytelling. They were able to give me something that I could care about. And what they did within 6 episodes, I believe, they did a fantastic job with that. Even though they say that these timelines are not going to link up, at some point, I want to believe that those timelines are going to sync up sometime. But Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is one of my favorite. To be honest with you, that's my anticipated movie to see as well. to see how that gets played out. Also, too, with the new Spider-Man movie, how that's going to be played out, because everything that's happened in Loki is repercussions of that being played into this new Spider-Man movie. Also, too, with WandaVision as well. And Wanda is also the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is also evil. And yeah, so you have that. But if you want to check out some of our spoiler reviews for those, if you don't, since you don't have Disney Plus, we did a review on that too. Anime for me, Brandy, to be honest with you, I'm selective on anime. I watched a few animes before. I watched Death Note. Death Note is one of my favorites. Blue Metal Alchemist. I watched. Then there was also this other one. I can't remember it, but I remember watching it. I watched My Hero Academia. I watched a little bit of that, but anime never really did anything for me at all, to be honest. Black Butler was good. I'm gonna have to say that, but to me, Dead Note was my favorite anime. That's what got me into like the horror aspect and the mystery aspect of anime. And it takes a very special anime for me to watch. I can't just say, you know what, let me go and turn on an anime. No, there has to be something to where I can watch, to where it will entice me to watch. I'm not one of those casual, everyday anime kind of guys, but I do have friends that has expertise in anime, that loves anime. I'm just not one of those people. But also too, like I said, there's also this other one. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a demon. He's a demon, but a human, and he has to. He also has a father who was a priest. But let me just tell you this: the anime that got me into some anime was also let me think, Van Helsing. Van Helsing was one of those animes that was one of the first animes that I watched, and it was because of a Disturbed music video that a fan made. That's what got me into it as and everything was that. Studio Ghibli has the best anime for kids. You know, baby, to be honest with you, I never watched anything from Ghibli. I might have to. Blue Devil. Yeah, I haven't seen Blue Devil or anything like that, but that might be something that I might actually look into. But that's gonna be it as far as this show goes and everything. Like I said before, my voice is going out on me. But guys, we're gonna be back tomorrow night. Towards the end of the show, if you guys want to talk to us or talk to us about some of the endings that you liked or anything like that, go on ahead tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific Time. Also, too, if you want to donate to the page, how do you do that? You just go on ahead and go to gofundme.com/Movie Lovers Unite podcast. The link is in the description below if you want to donate $5 to $10 to our podcast. You don't have to, like I said before, simple like, simple share goes a long way. Smashing that subscribe button goes a long way for us here at Movie Lovers Unite. Also, too, if you guys want to reach out to us, just go on ahead, reach out to us at movieloversunite@gmail.com. Also, too, you guys can go on ahead and follow me on Twitter at Movie Lovers Unit over there. Also do some videos and stuff like that for TikTok as well. And you can follow me underneath Movie Lovers Unit 0 over there. And that's everywhere that you can reach me at. And it's been a pleasure, guys. I can't wait to do this again. And always until next time, it's been real, it's been fun, and I can't wait to do this again. Thank you again, Brandy. I do appreciate it. And always until next time. Bye-bye.